social media if you'd like to go out there and see the visual of it. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for taking your time this evening. And I'm excited for you to have an experience tonight where your mind is maybe shifted, hopefully shifted, because I know if you're getting on this call, it's because you want something different. Maybe the title Financial Thermostat intrigued you and you thought, I'd like a hotter financial situation, not hot water, but hotter as in you get a little more excited about your financial situation and you start to see some changes. We're in December. We're wrapping up 2014, and what we want to see for everyone who gets involved with Trinot, this amazing new network marketing company, we're going to be telling you what this is all about this evening, but we want every single person who is involved with us and who enters into our world and into this space that you are headed into 2015 with success in mind, with your financial situation, with your life, that by this time next year, you're going to be in a better place, you're going to be happier, you're going to be healthier, you're going to be wealthier, and you know what? You're even going to look better because you're going to feel better in all the areas that truly matter, and that is what Trinot is all about. Well, I am mostly excited tonight, not only that you're on, but because of our amazing guest presenter. Julius Henderson is someone that I've known for, oh my gosh, I don't even want to say when I first met Julius. It makes me feel old. But I've known Julius for, gosh, going on almost a decade now when he was introduced into my world, and he absolutely changed my thought process about success in my life. I've worked in the network marketing industry for almost 20 years, and I absolutely had the biggest amount of increase in my financial situation. I had the biggest amount of increase in the success that I was having in my life after I was introduced to Julius Henderson. He's been my absolutely most effective partnership that I've ever experienced as far as coaching is concerned in my life, and I'm out of my mind excited that he is on the call with us tonight. He's in New York City, and he's going to be sharing about your financial thermostat. What is your financial mindset? So, Julius, are you there?
I am here.
All right. Thank you. Thank you.
I can't wait to get into this information with you guys. You know, it's one of those things. I was looking at a commercial. I'm a pizza guy. So I'm looking at this commercial, this Domino's pizza commercial, and I was watching it when the new CEO took over. And what he did basically is he did something that was just unprecedented. No one has ever done it from the perspective of marketing. He took a truth and he actually dealt with it. I mean, he took a truth and he actually dealt with it. Everyone knew that Domino's Pizza was just the worst of the worst. And so this guy, from a CEO's perspective, had a marketing campaign to help people to appreciate that, you know what, we know that. His whole marketing campaign was from the perspective of, I'm going to just deal with the elephant in the room. Is right there. There's no sense of trying to have great cars and someone eating pizza or some lady with a bikini on eating pizza. It's not going to work. Our pizza sucks. I mean, that's what the whole marketing process was about. Dealt with the elephant in the room. Domino's Pizza's profits went up because of the ability to just deal with the reality of things. That's what I want to talk about, just the elephant in the room, just the emotional element of what money does to people, how the difference is from a mindset perspective of those who deal with the elephant in the room from an emotional and mental perspective and those who do not. This is a telling statistic right here. 80% of millionaires are first generation. That's a telling statistic, and that's a statistic of freedom for us. The reason it is because if it's 80% that are first generation, that means that 80% of those individuals connected to the elephant in the room. What was the elephant? Oh, my goodness, we're just out of cash. Oh, my goodness, we can't sustain ourselves. Oh, my goodness, our life is not going to be exactly what we want it to be if we don't deal with this. No pushing it to the side, no putting it under the blanket, no, let's have another conversation. It was, let's just deal with the elephant. And from that perspective came a new thought. And that's what money really is about when you talk about financial freedom. I know people want to say, but it's scary, it's all these, but you know, at the end of the day, it's just really a thought. I'm going to give you the evidence to back that up. I'm going to focus on one thing with the time that I have with you. Let's focus on a point that wealthy people have in thought that other people do not have in thought. We're going to break it all the way down so we can see it, and more importantly, so we can feel it. Because while most people from a money perspective think of it from a logical perspective, we all know it's an emotional thing. When you get that bill in the mail, it's an emotional thing. When you get that check, it's an emotional thing. This is one point that I think is very powerful, that wealthy people see things, the way wealthy people see things in regular folk. Here it is. The wealthy believe being rich is a right. Being rich is a right. Forbes magazine did this journal, I did this update of this conversation from these very wealthy people they interviewed like 30-some years ago, but they updated it. And they talked about this one fine point. And they said, of all the things in the world, the most important thing to understand about money psychologically, emotionally, is this. Regardless of your education level, IQ score, or performance in school, you have everything it takes to become wherever you want to be, or put yourself wherever you want to be from a financial perspective. Stop thinking about money in terms of fear and scarcity and start thinking about it through the eyes of freedom. Freedom. Possibility, opportunity, abundance. When the last time I had a conversation with someone that was thinking about money through the eyes of freedom, not just I want to be financially free, but more importantly, through the eyes of it, based on where they currently were. How does that look in real time? It looks like this in real time. Opportunity comes our way. That opportunity allows us to change our financial situation. Instead of focusing our attention on where we are not, we emotionally connect ourselves with the fact that this opportunity will open up freedom for me. Possibility, opportunity, and abundance. But most importantly, thinking from the very beginning that I have the right. I have the right. See, so many people think that money is just about X's and O's. Money is about emotions and thoughts. It really is. I was homeless once before. People ask me sometimes, Julius, you're successful. How did you go from homeless to this? I did by not concentrating on being homeless. How do the first generation individuals become millionaires? They become millionaires by not concentrating on being broke, but not concentrating on where they are, but not concentrating on the scarcity or the fear. They concentrate on the freedom and the possibility, opportunity, and the abundance. That's what they do. Note to self question we have to ask ourselves, when I look at money, how do I feel? Seriously. When I look at my current situation, how do I feel in connection to the cash flow? Am I scared? Am I in fear? Because if we're not willing to take that assessment and really understand exactly what we believe when it comes to money, or what we feel when it comes to money, then we won't deal with the elephant in the room if it's in the room. The great ones believe they have the right to be as rich as the value they create. That's a total belief, thought, emotional process. Individuals that don't understand money, don't get it, they think of money as this, oh my goodness, let's talk about anything else except for the financial situation. And I get it. I get it. Because X's and O's are just boring, calculators and all those things, and accountants are not what we see as the cool people. So the culture of it is just boring to a certain degree. But when you connect the dots to the fact that no. This is the heart of the conversation. If we're not talking about this, everything else we're talking about from the standpoint of what kind of life I want, what kind of life you want, what kind of experiences we want, totally irrelevant. It is the ultimate elephant. Sitting at the table, relaxing. Let me say that statistic to you again, because I think it's something that we need to digest really well. 80%, and it could be higher, but 80% firmly, first generation. That means they were the first to deal with the elephant in the room, the first to change their attitude, the first to get their emotions connected correctly with what money is and what it does, the first to not be scared of it, the first to stop the scarcity thinking, the first to see freedom and possibility, opportunity and abundance, the first. Just like that Domino's CEO, pizza guy, Domino's had plenty of CEOs. Understanding and knowing, you know what, when you get reviews over and over and over and over and over and over again that your product sucks, maybe we need to deal with that. But they approach it just like most people approach money. We don't want to touch it. We don't want to deal with it. It's fear. It's scarcity. Just talk about, let's just show them a smiling kid eating a pizza. But this guy came in and said, no way. Can't overlook the fact that everybody knows that the elephant is there. Let's talk about it. It's funny. And let's change it. It's the same thing as relates to the elephant in the room, in our conversation, in our approach, in our connection emotionally, in our thought process mentally when it comes to finances. Let's talk about it. Let's feel it. Let's see the freedom in it, the possibility in it, the opportunity in it, and an abundance in it. There are 2 commercials coming in when that bill comes in. 2 marketing commercials can take place right at that moment when it comes to finances. Scarcity and fear, that's already marketed, built-in brand when it comes to bills, and people cannot. But what this mindset is, the wealthy believe being rich is a right. What this mindset is, the wealthy connects the fact and see finances through the eyes of freedom, possibility, opportunity, and abundance. What this mindset is, what it does, totally creates a different commercial by taking in consideration that, yes, I got it. I see the elephant in the room. I'm clear. However, fear and scarcity is a choice, and if that is the truth, then freedom, possibility, opportunity, and abundance from the way how we think is a choice as well. If you're rich, keep thinking the way you're thinking. If not, maybe it's time to change the way you think about money. That was the final word, sentence in the study. Maybe it's time to change. I implore you as successful individuals, as individuals that understand and know that the elephant is in the room, that no matter what we talk about, no matter what kind of great life we say we want to have, the elephant has to be dealt with. I implore you to recognize, digest, honor the fact that freedom is in the conversation about the elephant. Freedom, possibility is in the conversation about the elephant. Opportunity is in the conversation about the elephant, and abundance is in the conversation about the elephant, as long as we, just like the CEO of Domino's Pizza, are willing to face where we are and recognize where we want to go. See, face where we are, recognize where we want to go, and then from that perspective, keep our eyes and our focus on where we want to go. And when we do that, when that becomes the consumption of our thoughts, it changes the filter in how we see money, and it changes the conversation and how we talk about money, and most importantly, it changes the emotion of how we feel about money. And when we can control that and put that on a path of freedom, possibility, opportunity, and abundance, then just like wealthy people, we will begin to recognize, realize, and understand and feel I have a right to be rich. A right to be rich. So, where's the elephant at? Let's pull it out. Let's chop it up. Let's talk about it. Let's get clear. Let's get free. Let's believe. Let's feel the abundance. And let's take control of the conversation about money. Thank you guys for allowing me to spread this word to you today. Thank you, Lance. Thank you, Ariane, for what you do. It is about bringing the elephant out and talking about the things that really will change people's lives. You guys take care.
Hey, thank you very much, Julius. That was awesome. And this is Lance Morgan, as I'm a financial coach with Trinant, and I am going to actually talk real briefly about the elephant in the room. I'm going to talk just real quick about the top 5 money mistakes that people make in my experience of doing this for almost 10 years now. Number 1, they can't get the money when they need it. If there's one thing that I've noticed over and over in my career is people get into the financial situation that they get into because they don't have access to the money. It ends up being in equity in their house or in a 401k where they can't get to it, and they end up needing it and they don't have access to it. The second thing is because of number 1, they end up cashing out their 401k. One of the biggest mistakes that people do all the time. About 50% of Americans are cashing out their 401ks in between jobs because they don't have access to the money. And that ends up being a very, very costly mistake that comes out of their future. And the third one is also tied to number 1, which is racking up credit card debt and other loans. We are in a tremendous amount of debt as a country, and we are paying hundreds of dollars to get help, getting out of debt, and people are making millions on trying to teach us how to get out of debt. But we end up being the ones that are still suffering by trying to work our way back to that zero line because we've gotten so far, in debt, and we're paying so much interest and losing so much control of our money to others. And the fourth one is the biggest mistake a lot of people make is not understanding how impactful it is to lose money like we all did in 2008. A lot of people have all of their eggs in one basket. They might have their entire retirement in a 401k at work, for example, that they do not have a lot of control over, and when the market goes down, they end up losing almost half of it like we did in 2008. And that can take years to recover from that, which actually is a very, very costly mistake. When we lose 50% of our money, we have to have 100% return just to get back to even. So this can be very expensive, and there, of course, are ways to help minimize that and to diversify. The last one that I see all the time is that a lot of people start at zero and they go below the zero line and they get into debt, and then they work their way back to get back to that zero line, and then they just keep doing that over and over. Or there's others who have learned what their grandparents taught them, which is to save and delay that gratification and then spend it. The funny thing is they end up being at zero as well. They save and then they spend, they save and then they spend. Compound interest works best over time, uninterrupted. And so one of the things people need to learn how to do is allow their money to grow uninterrupted. And that compound interest can grow uninterrupted, and that money can still be used through a collateral position that gives them access to money without having to reset the compounding on that money and draining the tank. So with that, that's just a quick little thought of how people are making these 5 biggest mistakes with their money.
All right, Julius, Lance, thank you so much. And I just want to wrap things up today. I know we have a lot of people on our call, and I know that typically there's 3 different types of people when it comes to making money or talking about money or thinking about money, or as Julius talked about how we feel about money. There's usually 3 groups of individuals in our society, in our world. The first group of people are people who just are broke. They're broke emotionally, they're broke financially, and they just need to make more money. The second type of group of people are people who need to keep the money they're making. They find themselves making more money, but they don't know where it's going. They're having a hard time holding on to it. They are making more money, but they're not keeping it. They're not making it work for them. And then the third group of individuals are people who want to grow their money. They're already in that money mindset that Julius shared. They're already in that wealth mindset. They know they deserve to be wealthy. They are because they believe that way, and now they just want to keep growing their money. What I want to share with you, and I know if you're on the line, you're feeling the same way I am, that, gosh, I want more access to people like Julius Henderson. He invoked some emotion into me and some thoughts into my mind, and I felt like I wanted to make a change, or I wanted to continue to increase my situation that's going well. What I want to share with you is that by becoming a Trinot member, you're going to continue to receive access to Julius Henderson, to people like him. You're going to have access to financial coaches like Lance Morgan. You know, in our society, when we think about financial services, we think about financial planners. We think about financial advisors. Well, they're the people that manage the wealth that you've already built. A financial coach is going to help you build the wealth in the first place. You're going to have access to your own financial coaches as a Trinot member. You're going to have access to financial fitness workshops. Lance talked about the hundreds of dollars that people spend. There's maybe even buying some books out there about getting out of debt. But what about the thousands of dollars that you would have to spend attending financial workshops, or the thousands, tens of thousands you'd have to spend going back to college? And would you really learn what you needed to learn by doing that? You're going to have access with your Trinot membership to financial fitness workshops. You're also going to have access to some of the best financial education in the world. We talk about the jokes and the funnies about first world problems. Well, we know in third world problems, we have problems like water, problems like sanitation. Well, we have a real first world problem, and that is the lack of education about our finances, starting with our mindset, starting with how we think about money, how we feel about money. You're going to have access to people like Julius Henderson and to people who are the top of the top in this industry. You know, you've heard the phrase, the rich become richer and the poor become poorer, and we know that those who are wealthy, those who are rich, they hang out with rich people. They have access to top people, and by joining the Trinot community, you're going to have that kind of access too. You're also going to be provided with some tools and services. They're going to help organize and straighten up maybe the mess you have, or help you to know how to keep that money or grow it. We have amazing tools and services at Trinot that we can provide along with that. And then finally, which I kind of alluded to already, is financial friends. How would you like to be surrounded by people who are on the same path, who have that same mindset? How would you like to be best friends with Julius Henderson, and to have people like Julius with that kind of mindset, with that kind of passion infused into your life? We become like the people we hang around with most. Are all your friends in the same financial situation you are? You know what the statistic is that they are within just a few $1,000s of your financial situation right now. So who are the friends that you should be hanging out with? Are you hanging out with the right people? By becoming a Trinot member, you're going to be able to have access to friends who think and feel and act the way they do with their money, the things that Julia shared with you tonight. So lastly, we want to invite you to make that change. Julia said, you know what, it may be time to make a change with how you think about money. I want you to think about your neighborhood. If you walk out the door and you look up and down the street, do the people in your neighborhood, in your community, and if you live in a great financially stable area, that's awesome, but most of us don't. In fact, my husband and I live in a very nice community, and the number one problem that we have is unemployment and financial struggle. So what if you could walk out that door and look up and down that street and know that because you shared what Ternant has to offer, that you shared a Ternant membership with everyone on your street, they think and feel the way that Julius shared with you today about money. They're out of debt. They're increasing their wealth. They have financial stability. They can take the family vacations they want to take when they want to take them. They don't have to worry about how they're going to pay the bills. They don't have to worry about the instability that they have in their life financially. They never have to play that tape that Julia shared with you about scarcity and lack and fear, because they have access to what Ternant has to offer. Ternant is the first of its kind to be able to offer these tools, this mindset, this community, this offering in this type of arena. It's a brand new company. We want you to be a part of it, absolutely, as a member, but we'd love to help you share this Ternant life to change the world economy one household at a time, and we want to invite you to act. You know what? It's easy to put this kind of stuff off. It's easy to think, I'll do it later, and that's why we end up in the financial situations we do. I want you to act now. Do something for yourself. Do something for your family. Do something for your future. Start to have the right kind of mindset. Start to have that thermostat set to financial success, financial freedom, and financial abundance. And you'll do that by joining Ternant today. You're going to want to contact the person who invited you to watch or listen to this webinar. They're going to be able to tell you how to become involved. You're going to want to get that done right now, because if you don't, you'll never know, and you'll always wonder. So join us. Become a Ternant member. It's easy, it's affordable, and more importantly, it will change your life, and it will change your financial mindset. I want to thank you for joining us. Thank you again to Julius Henderson. Thank you to Lance Morgan. And we want to tell you, God bless and have a fantastic night and happy holidays.